Let's get straight down to business, mate. What are you fucking up to right now?
What I'm up to right now? Taking a little bit of time out from personal sort of endeavours with women because of recent events, to be quite honest. The main thing, fitness. Open a second gym.
Oh, shit, really?
So, touch wood, we put an offer in for a lease, which I'm not going to say where it is right now, but that is the big next step. Everything is ready to go. I would love January, but realistically, it's probably not going to happen because of the time frame.
A bit of work goes in as well,
on anything like that. But gym number 2, and then try and do everything that I'm doing anyway, just bigger and better.
Yeah, nice. Talk to me about gym number 1 then, mate. What was there? How did that happen? Like, was that always something you wanted to do, or?
So, I'll be honest, I went to school, did quite well, found it really easy. Like people always think, I think it's a stigma of personal trainers are thick, and I kind of get a little bit.
I mean, mate, I know how kind of feel.
Yeah.
Darren, if you're listening, I'm talking about you.
But I mean, I was gonna go and do architecture. I was gonna do quantity surveying. I said I was
really?
gonna do. Oh yeah, I was gonna do full lot. Went down to Leeds, decided, and then I thought, right, because I was probably the only person in my family that got the grades to go to uni, Dad was a little bit like, well, you've got to go, and I was like, well, yeah, obviously. Went and did a random business management degree for all of 4 weeks, and then realized that I was like, what am I doing? Because in the meantime was training myself just for fun. Loved it. Went to bed every night reading the likes of people who were like YouTubers who I just loved, and like BioLane, like the sciencey sort of people and all of that, just really, really buzzed off it. And then I was like, why don't I just go and give this a crack? So did a personal training course, got into the gym group, which is obviously the commercial gym that everyone knows. And that was 19 years old. And then pretty much...
How long ago was that then?
So I'm 27 as of last week.
Shit.
So 19 years old, went into a global gym, did 2 years there almost. Maybe like actually more like a year and a half, went to a private sort of facility and just kind of built up this client base for ages and ages. Long story short, gym basically went down the pan, and I was kind of sat there ready to go. And we just took the plunge at 21 for me to open my own gym. I say we, my dad's in construction. So basically I was like, right, this is what I need. Can you help me with this? And I'll do all of the gym and the equipment side. Yeah. And we'll just start with nothing. Yeah. Like it was kind of like just my own studio, and then bit by bit, and we'll have 8 trainers now in the gym.
Oh shit, nice, mate. So that business, that 4 weeks business management came in handy.
Paid off. Freshers in Leeds. I can't remember. Leeds Beckett changes its name every year, but Freshers number 1, number 2, number 3, 1 lecture, done.
Done it all. Mad. Do you know what's mad about some of the university things? And I mean, I'm not labeling all the same brush. I didn't even get into uni. Couldn't even get into college, because you needed 3 GCSEs. Yeah. Couldn't get in. But the mad thing is, I remember when I went to go self-employed, I would have been about 21 as well. And back then they had these local enterprise things, like the council would help fund people to set up their own businesses. Now I didn't get any money, but they would let me on a free course. Now the course was like how to start your own business, and there was 5 days. 4 of those days, the 4 people that ran those days didn't have their own business. Which is mad, isn't it?
It blows my mind. Like the lecturers have never really done anything. I think it should be one of the things in future where if you're going to be a business management or something like that, a lecturer in uni, you should have tried to start something or had something successful.
It's weird though, like it's a funny thing, isn't it? Because if you're running a successful business, why the fuck would you go and lecture on it as well? But you get some people that get to a level where they just want to give back as well. Yeah. I don't know, it's a weird thing. So 8 trainers, mate, that's
well, I would be number 8 if you I jumped in this morning because we're 2 members of staff on holiday, but it's, I love it.
What, you give your staff holidays?
Exactly.
Fuck me, you give them holidays?
I'm far too nice.
Jesus Christ.
When you fuck off to a Love Island villa every couple of years, you kind of got to give them holidays when they want. They've got my back, I've got to have theirs now.
What was the hardest part about getting set up?
Hardest part about getting set up? For anyone else, it would be a client base, but I got to the point where it was impossible for me not to open a place where I could do groups, because every single day was 12 hours. I mean, the girl that I was with, who was my like first proper relationship, it probably was my fault. I ruined that because I was just in the gym so much, but I was so hungry at 21 years old, 19 to 21.
I actually think it takes that.
Yeah.
When you start, it fucking takes that.
Yeah. Like now could have been a totally different situation, but at that starting point, you've got to sacrifice something. And I just didn't care about anything. I was probably selfish with family, selfish with friends. I remember like there was a couple of Kavos Zante holidays, and I was like, I'm not going. I was like, I'm doing something bigger. I was like, I'll go to better places when I'm older. I did one.
I mean, that's very mature for 21, by the way.
Yeah, I think I was
when
just
I'm 21,
hungry.
there's no way I'm missing the fucking night out. Never mind a fucking lads holiday.
I mean, don't get us wrong. There was plenty of them. And I did do 1 or 2, but I didn't do 4.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I cut them in half. I cut them in half.
Yeah. So the hardest part would have been getting a client base, but the hardest part for you was the hours you were working.
It was probably just the hours I was working, and I don't know the hardest part. I don't know. I loved it. I'd never found it hard, and it's always, I can't remember what it was, but if you love it and you never really feel like you're at work, like this morning, I went in 6 until 9. I don't need to be there. I don't need to work for 15 quid an hour, whatever it is. But like, to be honest, there's 3 of my mates there. There's 3 mutual friends somewhere down the line, and I get to teach them how to deadlift. Why would I not want to do that?
You like being around people.
Yeah.
I think it's a big thing, you know. It's funny to say this about being there all the time and not seeing it as work. I think it is. We'll talk about staff in a minute, right?
Yeah.
I think business is easy until you hire people, right? But we have this with my wife's my business partner, and people are like, do you not like, do you have a rule where you don't talk about work when you're at home? I'm like, no. We both fucking value it highly, so why would we say, oh, let's not talk about that? Do you know what I mean? It's a strange thing that, like, so staff, how quickly did you get to your first fucking staff member then?
First staff member was pretty much straight away, and I jumped into it, and I didn't even really, I mean, it wasn't even an interview. It was like
was it your mate?
It was someone I'd worked with previously, and he was kind of a friend, and it was probably a little bit too close to home because at that point we were on even keel, and then I went and did this, and then he was kind of still there.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this on a podcast. He obviously, I went up the pecking order a little bit, and it is hard to do that. I would say I've went through a conveyor belt of every 3 personal trainers, and I've got to be honest, every 3 personal trainers that I've had in, I've probably kept 1. Yeah. And the staff, the 7 that we've got now, are the best we've ever had. Yeah. But it's been a hard road to get there. But like I said, what I just said, my number 2 right now, the gym manager, Ben, he's turned into one of my best friends because I love being around him. But he's technically, on paper, been there the least amount of time, but he loves it that much that he went straight to the top. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, he probably does. When it's 5:15 and you're scraping ice off your car, for half an hour you feel like you're going to work. But you know, by the time you're there and a few hours in, it doesn't matter. Like, he loves it. You can tell it. It's on his face, like me. And I haven't seen that in a lot of people, but the staff that I've got there now, they're sick.
Yeah. Yeah. So some of the most challenging things you've had with your staff then have been?
Yeah, whether it's like, it's one of them things, like, I don't know if it's ego, or I think personal trainers can have a lot of ego for sometimes the wrong reasons. Yeah.
Sometimes it's ambition as well, though, I think, innit?
It is ambition. And I would say that if I'm holding my hands up and I will do this now, I was probably a little bit egotistical when I was younger, and now I've kind of learned, like, there's always someone better, there's always someone bigger, there's always someone with more money, and there's always someone with 5 gyms and not 4. So what does it matter? You've kind of got to work on you. But back in the day, I was a little bit like that. And maybe I've struggled with people who, like, I always turn around and I go, these hours are for you because I'm trying to build a business elsewhere, so we can have another place and you can have more hours and you can, I don't know, we can improve your pay and stuff like that.
I think one thing you've got to give yourself, like, you'll have to give yourself a bit of a break for, and I think we all do, is that you're kind of trying your best. This is your first these are your first few members of staff.
Exactly.
You've never fucking done it before. It's new. You're young as fuck, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know, mate, no shit, right? I've been self-employed since I was 21. That's 22 years this year, which is fucking insane, right? And I didn't hire my first full-time PAYE national insurance member of staff until 2019. Yeah. Isn't that mad? I've had 30 or 40 freelancers, e-lancers, people per hour, VAs, all that kind of shit. And Mac was my first full-time in-office employee.
Well, some of ours technically
like subbies.
They're subbies. They're like half employed, half not employed.
Yeah.
For different reasons, but it just works better because they want a personal train on their outside as well.
Yeah, of course.
So it makes sense.
Well, and it's weird. It's hard, like you say, giving people hours when they want hours. Yeah. I mean, what do you do in between those hours of fucking, like, you're talking 10 and 3? What happens then?
It's kind of
dead time, isn't it?
This is what I mean. So we have a little bit of a structure now where it works both ways, where they can kind of do whatever they want. They can lock up, they can go for dinner, they can PC clients. Yeah. And I think the best thing that I've kind of done is try and think about how they feel as well and what I would want to do in their shoes now. And that's kind of what I do. Right. If I wanted more clients and I was hungry and I don't want them to go, how can I help them be happier here?
How do you separate all the Love Island stuff from that?
Do you know what?
Do you think it helps or hinders?
It helps in ways and it hinders in other ways.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest, half of the stuff I hate in terms of Love Island. Yeah. And I would say that the best way to explain it is what I could have achieved in 5 years, I've maybe cut down to 2 because completely financial.
Yeah.
I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
And no one is going into Series 8 now. I took a bit of a risk when I first opened the gym at 21 by going on Love Island when I was 22. First year business,
that.
who does that?
Yeah.
No one. You should
How much
never be-
time out was it?
Well, it was 8 weeks what I thought, because I went quite far, and then you've got a week before, a week after. But I didn't realise that I was going to be in nightclubs for 4 months, 5 months after.
Yeah.
So I kind of could have came straight out 8 weeks and just went straight back to work. But the financial side of it was so good straight after that I could pay that gym off straight away. I could pay my house off straight away.
So you were putting that straight back into...
So I was putting it straight back into the gym. Everything that we had, like the gym is finance free. It's all done. The next gym will already kind of be close to that already.
Nice. Yeah.
And that was kind of where my head was at with that. So people are going, oh, he's in nightclubs every night. He's on this, he's on that. I was like, I am. But what you don't realize is I'm actually co-funding everything that happened. Yeah. Like I didn't need to worry in COVID. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Like it was a little bit of a struggle and members were leaving left, right and centre. My Boohoo Man contract alone probably could have like saved that.
Yeah.
Like it didn't really matter.
Yeah,
but that's because I went to all them places to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are the upsides then.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the downsides.
Downsides. People, the one thing that pisses us off, but it's a funny thing. I'm going to give Ollie Marchand a little shout out. I went to his gym.
Ollie's a fucking gangster.
Ollie is a gangster. He's probably one of my idols in life because I always think like he's me in 5 years in terms of not to a certain extent, like I'm my own person, but like he's had the gym. He's like 4 years ahead, so it's great for me to look at as a bit of a goal.
Yeah.
And he's got
nice.
and he's got the family and kids, so it gives me an idea of right when I've got them as well. How will I do my stuff? Right.
Nice.
When I went down to his gym,
Mate, I've got to stop you here because what I love about this is that comparison there would crush quite a lot of people.
yeah,
They'd be like, oh, well, why not? Do you know what people say? The comparison's a thief of joy.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it though? Depends on what frame you put it in.
Yeah.
You've put it in a frame of not, oh, well, why haven't I got that? And why can't I do that? And oh, it's all right for him. You put it in the context of, well, how can I do that?
yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? This is a big deal, this.
Yeah, I think people again, egotistical me at 22 probably wouldn't have said that. Like he's great. I look up to him, and one of the things he said when I first came off Love Island, because I went down to train with him, did a team workout, and he went, Christ, you're actually fit. And it was like, because I've been on Love Island, it was like, oh, is it just followers because of that? But yeah, I can hold my own with them boys. I can. But it's nice. He's always great. Like I asked him something about a little event the other day and he gave us some advice. Yeah. But I think comparing yourself to people like that when they are in the right circles, in the right direction, I look to them, what's the problem with that? You know?